Okay, guys, we're going to need to take your notebooks out because we need to take a little bit more notes on writing equations of lines. So the very first thing we're going to write is one of our more simple examples, and these are ones you've probably done in Algebra 1 and Geometry, or maybe even Algebra 2, and that is writing an equation of a line from 2 points. This is a specifically very important skill to have for calculus. So we want to make sure that going in to calculus from pre-calc that you are solid at this skill. And I'll put the coordinates here, 6, 1 and -4, 6. Okay, so writing an equation of a line through 6, 1 and -4, 6. Now this one I call an easy one, and that's because it's going to come out nice and pretty. The rest of them we're going to do are messy, but I want to give you process first. As soon as it says write an equation of a line or writing an equation of a line, you need to be in y equals mx plus b mode. And that means that from this information, we have to extract a slope and a y-intercept. And we need to find both. So the first thing we're going to start with is slope. Slope is the m, so we're going to use our slope formula, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And we're going to calculate what the m or the slope would be. Our y2 value is 6, and our y1 value is 1. Our x2 value is -4, and our x1 value is 6. And when we go and subtract, we end up with 5 over -10. And we're going to reduce that. We definitely want to reduce any fractions that we get, and that's so that the math that we do later are already in simplest form. Now that's the m. So that means that as soon as I get this guy, I have to put him up in this spot, because that's part of my answer. And the only other thing that I need to find for this problem is the b. Now when I go to plug, or in order for me to solve for b, in case you forgot, is you're actually going to write y equals mx plus b, and you're going to use the m you found, which is -1/2, and you're going to pick one of these coordinates. Okay, you have to pick one of these coordinates to use. And I tend to go with both positives if I can. So I'm going to pick this coordinate, x and y coordinate, and I'm going to plug the 6 in for the x and the 1 in for the y. So 6 in for the x and 1 in for the y. And I still have a b there. I'm solving for b. Now, this is the part that gets kids a little bit uncomfortable, so hang tight with me for a minute. And you have to remember that this 6 is really over 1. And when you multiply across. So this is -1 times 6. That's -6. And 2 times 1 is 2. And this one reduces. -6 over 2 is really a -3. And then to solve for b, you would just add 3 over. My y-intercept is 4. And that means that at the end of this thing, we're going to go all the way up here, and 4 is your y-intercept, and your final answer is y equals -1/2 x plus 4. That's our easy one. Okay, so we need to transition now into like the pre-calculus level of things, because this is where it gets messy. So I want to show you one where it actually gets messy. So the two coordinates that we're going to use for our second example are -8, 3 and 5, 9. We're going to go through the same process, except I need to show you what happens when it doesn't work out to be a beautiful answer at the end. So we're finding an equation of a line. I'm going to go ahead and put my y equals mx plus b over here to remind myself that I need to find the m and the b in order to answer the question successfully. I'm going to start by doing my slope formula, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And I'm going to fill in my coordinates. So this is going to be 9 minus 3 and 5 minus negative 8. Don't forget that this negative is not a minus sign. You need to subtract because of the formula and then put the negative. And this is going to give us 6 over, and this is positive 13. Remember, double negative is a positive. So that slope is ugly. And no slopes that pretty have pretty answers. So 6/13 x is my slope. And we are going to take this answer and we're going to go ahead and find the b so that we can write the equation of the line. So in order to find the b, again, we're going to write y equals mx plus b. We are going to put the m that we found into the m position, which is 6/13. Then we're going to choose a coordinate. Now, remember I told you I like to choose positive coordinates. So I'm going to choose 5, 9 and replace the x with the 5 and the y with the 9. Now, if you prefer to use the negative 8, 3, you will get the same answer. As ugly as it is, it will work out to be the same as long as you do the math right. So that I'm making sure I'm substituting correctly. I'm going to put the 5 in the x position, and I'm going to put the 9 in the y position. Now, don't forget that when we get to this step, what we want to do is multiply these. So I'm going to put the 5 over 1, and I'm going to do top times top, which is 30. And bottom times bottom, which is 13. And this is the part that's uncomfortable. So what I like to do is I like to clear out the fraction by multiplying both sides by the denominator. So I'm going to multiply everything through by 13. When I do that, I'm going to do 13 times 9, and that is 117. I'm going to do 13 times 30 divided by 13. So the 13 times the 30 divided by 13. 13s are going to cancel, and you're going to get 30. And 13 times b is 13b. Now I'm just solving a two-step. So I'm going to subtract my 30. That's 87. And I'm going to divide by 13. 87 does not have a common factor with 13, which means that my b is literally 87/13. Don't change it to a decimal. Leave it in fraction form. Now we're going to walk that back up to our final answer. It's positive, so I'm going to put a plus sign. If it was negative, I put a minus sign. And my final answer for the equation of the line that passes through these 2 points is messy. It's y equals 6/13 x plus 87/13. If you have questions, go back and rewatch the video or contact your teacher with questions.